Look, most engineers think that saying no to their manager is a career suicide. They believe if they push back, they'll get labeled difficult, passed over for promotion, maybe even managed out. So they just say yes to everything. Here's the thing. In calibration rooms, the engineers with the strongest endorsements are almost never the people who said yes to everything. They're the ones who learned how to push back without it ever feeling like resistance. I'm Vinay Bansal, Senior Engineering Manager at top tech companies for over 8 years. Hundreds of hours in calibration sessions and promo committees. Today, I want to walk you through the actual moves that turn a no into a credibly building moment instead of a career damaging one. Here's the uncomfortable part. In calibration rooms, the engineers with the strongest reviews aren't the ones who close the most tickets. They're the ones whose managers can point to clear, focused, high-impact work. And you cannot have that kind of focus if you said yes to every random request that landed on your plate. Saying yes to everything doesn't make you a team player. In my experience, it actually does the opposite. It signals you can't prioritize, you don't have a point of view, and you can't be trusted with bigger calls. The people who quietly take on everything end up looking like reliable workhorses. And reliable workhorses don't get promoted past a certain level. Senior roles aren't about doing more, they're about doing the right things. Now, the most powerful move in your entire toolkit isn't actually a no. It's a yes, and here's what that costs. Let me show you what I mean. Your manager comes to you with a new request, call it X. You're already deep in another piece of work, call it Y. The default move is to say, I can't take this, I'm on Y. That's a brittle no. It puts your manager in a bad spot and it makes you look like a blocker. The better move is to accept the ask and put the trade-off right back on the table. So instead of refusing, you say something like, yeah, I can take X on. That's going to push Y by about a week though. Is that the right call? Or you can say, I can do both, but to hit the timeline, we would need to skip the integration test. Do you want me to go through that route or push the date? Or even just happy to pick this up? Quickest path is to drop the polish on Y. Are you good with that trade-off? Notice what you just did there. You haven't refused to anything. You just made the cost visible. And honestly, your manager doesn't actually want a no. They want to make an informed call. They've got pressure coming from above. They're juggling 6 things you can't see. And the last thing they need is for you to dump the decision back on them with no options. When you surface the trade-off cleanly, you stop being the person blocking work and start being the person helping them prioritize. That one reframe will completely change how you get talked about behind the closed doors. Okay. So the second move is about framing. A verdict closes the conversation. A question opens it. And opening it gives your manager room to either change your mind or give you the context you didn't have. So instead of saying, this isn't the right priority, which is really just a verdict, you ask, help me understand how this fits against our Q3 goals. Instead of, I don't think this approach will work, you say, before we lock this in, can I walk you through one concern? And trust me, in calibration meetings I've sat in, this distinction comes up all the time. When managers describe their reports, they don't say this person disagrees with me. They say this person thinks carefully. Or they say this person pushes back on everything. Those are two completely different reputations, and the only one difference between them is usually whether the engineer framed their pushback as a question or a verdict. Now, sometimes the answer really is just no. There's no trade-off to offer, no question to soften it. 3 situations where it's the right call and how to actually deliver it. First, capacity based. You're genuinely maxed out. Don't just say, I don't have bandwidth. That reads as evasive. Show your stack instead. Something like, here's everything I'm carrying this sprint. If this comes in, what do you want me to drop? You've made it real and you've put the decision exactly where it belongs. Second, priority based. The work is real, but it's the wrong thing for you to spend cycles on. The trap is framing it as personal preference. Like, I don't want to work on this. That always lands badly. Anchor it to team goals instead. Given our top priority this quarter is X, I think this trades off poorly. Is it worth discussing? Third, directional. You think the whole direction is wrong. This is the riskiest one and the one most ingenious fumble. The rule here is simple. Disagree privately, commit publicly. Never torpedo a decision in front of senior leadership without warning your manager first. And honestly, if you're navigating something tricky with your manager right now, this is one of those situations where talking it through with someone who has been in those rooms can save you months of guessing. Could be a mentor at your company, someone in your network, or a platform like BeTopTen.com, where you can book sessions with experienced leaders directly. Doesn't matter where you find it, just get the outside perspective. In almost every case, it's worth it. Look, every no, every trade-off you surfaced, every question you asked, all of that is a signal about how you think. The clearer those signals, the clearer your point of view becomes. And in the rooms where your career actually gets decided, a clearer point of view is worth more than another shift feature. Hope this video helped you. See you in the next one. Thank you very much.